If you switched to iPhone because Android felt behind, this video is going to bother you because Google just released the update that should have existed 3 years ago, and the people who left, they're watching this from the wrong side of the fence. Let's be real for a second. Android had a rough few years, not broken, but soft. Updates felt like maintenance patches. The UI looked fine on paper but tired in your hand. Apple was shipping things that actually felt different, and Android was there, present, technically capable, but not exciting. People noticed, millions of users moved, not because Android stopped working, but because it stopped leading. Android 17 is Google's answer to all of that. Internally codenamed X and publicly called Cinnamon Bun, this release went into beta in February 2026 with a completely different energy. Faster development cycle, smarter rollout, less waiting around. Google skipped the traditional developer preview tracks entirely and moved to a continuous release model. What that means for you, fewer months of sitting on features that already exist. The pipeline got shorter, and the result is landing faster than any previous Android release. Before we get into what's actually in this update, and there's a lot, I need to show you one thing that broke the internet the moment people saw it. Every few years, a phone update changes the way you use the thing in your pocket. Not the specs, the feel, the rhythm of it. Android 17 does that with one move, the dual shade control center. Swipe left, you get your notifications, and sitting right at the top is a Gemini-powered summary that reads your alerts and tells you what actually matters. Not 47 notifications stacked in a pile. A summary, intelligently written, in real time. Swipe right. You get a completely separate panel. Frosted glass design, customizable toggles, clean, fast, yours. This isn't a cosmetic change. It's a structural rethinking of how you interact with your phone every single day. Then there's Material Vivid, the new design language running underneath everything. Think glass morphism done properly. Volume sliders, power menus, widgets, they all carry this blurred, adaptive translucency that moves with your wallpaper. It looks expensive, like someone cared, and for anyone using a foldable or a large screen Android device, desktop windowing just became actually usable. Resizable windows, taskbar drag and drop, snap layouts. This is the kind of feature that makes you realize your phone was always capable of more. Google just finally built the scaffolding. The script people kept using for years was, iOS has the polish, Android has the freedom. Android 17 doesn't accept that trade-off anymore, but the UI is only half the story. The other half, that's where Android 17 goes somewhere entirely different. Here's a question nobody was asking 2 years ago. What if your phone remembered things, not your calendar, not your alarms? What if it remembered what it saw and could use that to help you in the moment? That's Project Astra, and it's baked into Android 17. You can ask your phone where you left your keys. If your camera has seen them recently, it will tell you. That's not a gimmick. That's contextual memory running off what your device has observed. It's a different category of useful. Live Translation 2.0 now overlays translated text directly on your screen in real time. Not in a separate app, not after a delay, on top of whatever you're looking at. Video calls, street signs, documents, it doesn't matter. And all of this runs on device, which matters more than most people realize. When the AI lives on the phone and not in some server farm, your data stays with you. Google isn't just adding intelligence to Android. They're doing it without building a surveillance machine. On top of that, native app lock, no third-party app required. Biometric lock any app individually, right from settings, private photos, banking, whatever you want gated. It's one switch. They also shipped a battery health dashboard. Cycle count, manufacture date, health percentage, right there in your settings. Apple had this on iPhone for years, and Android users had to use workarounds to get the same information about their own hardware. That gap is closed, performance and camera. Two things you use every single time you pick up the phone. Android 17 touched both, and one of them is aimed directly at creators. Under the hood, Android 17 tightened up the things you feel but can't always name. Garbage collection improvements, reduced missed frames, memory optimizations across the board. The result isn't a new benchmark number, it's the feeling of a phone that doesn't hesitate. Apps open when you tap them. Transitions don't stutter. The small frictions that wear you down over a day of heavy use, they're being sanded off. For creators specifically, the camera upgrades are worth calling out individually. Android 17 introduces support for VVC, that's the H.266 codec, which enables 8K video capture with dramatically better compression than what came before. Smaller file sizes, same quality. That matters if you're shooting, editing, and uploading regularly. RAW 14 format brings professional-grade dynamic range to the native camera. If you've been shooting in third-party apps to get proper RAW files, that workaround is no longer necessary. Screen recording got redesigned too, with annotation tools built directly in. Record your screen, mark it up while you're doing it, done. No extra software, no exports to another app. And smoother camera mode transitions mean less fumbling when you're switching between photo, video, and portrait. These are the things that separate a good camera experience from a great one. So here's the real question. Who actually gets this, and when? Because the update is only as good as the device it runs on. Android 17 hits public beta between April and June 2026, with a stable release landing either in June or alongside the Pixel 11 launch in August or September. Platform stability, meaning the build that developers and manufacturers can actually finalize against, locked in March 2026. For Pixel users, if you're on a Pixel 6 or newer, you're in the beta program. Pixel 7 and above get the stable release first. Samsung's getting it too. Galaxy S24, S25, S26, and the Z Fold 6 and 7. OnePlus and Xiaomi flagships are on the confirmed list. One change that's easy to overlook but actually significant. Google is now enforcing responsive design for large screens. Developers can no longer opt out of resizing behavior on tablets, foldables, and external displays. Every app has to adapt, which means the fragmentation problem, the one that made Android tablets feel like overgrown phones, just got addressed at the system level, and sideloading is still here. Full power user flows intact. If that matters to you, nothing changed. Here's the bigger picture though. Android 17 isn't just an update, it's a positioning statement. Google spent years watching the narrative shift. iPhone became the default recommendation. Android became the alternative. Android 17 is the first update in a long time that doesn't accept that framing. The AI is deeper, the design is sharper, the performance is cleaner, and the device support is wide enough that this isn't a Pixel-only story. It's an Android story. The people who left might not admit it yet, but they're paying attention. Android 17 doesn't ask for your trust back. It earns it, feature by feature, decision by decision, update by update. Google proved something with this release. Not that Android is perfect, but that the people building it are paying attention again. And sometimes that's exactly enough. Before you go, I want to know what you think. Drop a comment below. What's the one Android feature that should have existed years ago but never did? Because I'm working on a video about exactly that. The features Google got too late. Your answers might make it in. Like this video if Android 17 has you reconsidering. Subscribe if you want the follow-up when the stable build drops. I'll see you in the next one.